So you guys heard that audio by Pastor Price, and one thing that he talked about was God's hierarchy compared to Satan's hierarchy. And I thought that was some pretty interesting commentary that he made, so I made this little chart up. So when he's talking about the hierarchy here, he's basically talking about the family or the household, and he's saying in the household, the father or the husband is supposed to be in charge. And then his wife is basically supposed to be like a companion and a helper and to help raise the kids. And then the children are supposed to be in obedience. And this is God's blueprint. This is how he made it. So what's going on in society today, that's being inverted and flipped upside down. So if we look at the chart here, look at God's hierarchy, and then you see God the Father, or God. And then Satan's hierarchy is Satan, Jesus Christ, and then the Antichrist. And then the next down in God's order is man. So what Satan does is he inverts it. Instead of man being the head of the household, he puts women in charge of the household and then men in subjection to women. And we see that in society today. And I'm going to show you guys a few things here that goes along with this. And then children are supposed to be in obedience. But when you take the father out of the equation, then the children become rebellious, which is what he's shown on the chart here. Okay, so the man is being taken out, and this is intentional, and it's being done by very cunning, subversive means. And when the man or the leader or the head of the household gets taken out, everything falls apart in the family. And we're seeing that today on an epic scale. So I'm going to show some different ways how this is being done, and 90% of the population doesn't really even see it happening. So we see this all the time now in movies, TV commercials, news segments, where now the woman is in charge and she's the head of the household. She's the stronger, smarter one, and the husband is in subjection to the wife. And obviously the children aren't really obedient anymore. You see the kids running over top the parents in today's society. So I'm going to show how the media is instigating this. Okay, all different media outlets, news, TV commercials, movies, and even sports now is starting to push this agenda. And it's fascinating to see. I mean, it's disturbing, but it's also fascinating to see how they're doing this. And it's exactly what Pastor Price was talking about. Okay? So I've probably seen, 500 commercials over the years where they're pushing this agenda, where the husband is made out to be this mindless, brainless fool who's worthless and clueless and just wants to sit around on the couch and drink beer while the wife runs the household. Or you'll see the children disrespecting the father. Or you'll see the child portrayed as being smarter than the father or smarter than the parents. So let's listen to this clip by Pastor Price real quick, and then I'm going to do a little bit of play-by-play as we go along here.
The order of God is God the Father, the Son, man, then woman, and children in obedience. Satan's hierarchy is Satan, the Antichrist, woman, then man in subjection to woman, and children in rebellion. That's what makes the children's teeth set on edge. They become rebels because the hierarchy is out of order. We've been feminized and matronized in the nations and in the world. So the children are in rebellion because they have no patriarchal fatherly authority over them.
Okay, so you guys heard that. Pretty self-explanatory. And the reason that they're doing this is to destroy the family unit. Okay? It's to break up the family. So a long time ago, when you had a solid family unit, it has a lot of strength to it. Okay? And that's pretty much how this country was built. But the devil has come in and he's destroyed this. He's inverted God's blueprint. And I'm going to show you a few things at the end of this video that kind of tie into what I'm talking about. But this has been going on probably for 35 to 40 years. And if you guys remember that TV show, Married with Children, where Al was like the bumbling idiot, you know, and when it first came out, it was kind of funny when they came up with that concept. I think that was one of the first shows where the husband was portrayed like that. Because if you think about all the other shows before then, maybe, I don't know, 15 to 20 years before that, the father was always the head of the household. Just think about Leave It to Beaver or Andy Griffith or My Three Sons, where the father was the authority figure, and usually at the end of the show, one of the kids was taught like a life lesson by the father. Okay, that world doesn't exist anymore. And when you look at these videos that I'm going to play, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. I mean, they have these TV commercials now where the wife and the children look at the father like they hate his guts. Okay, this is sick, guys. This is evil. All right? And you're also going to hear this narrator talk about the reason these big corporations do this is to sell product, okay, which is ridiculous. Okay, I'm not going to go out and buy auto insurance because the man in the commercial is being portrayed as a fool. Okay, this is a spiritual battle, and this has been going on for a long time, and it's starting to work now. Because in today's world, men are being viewed as these disposable utility ATM machines, okay, that can just be used and then kicked to the curb. And they're not respected by women at all. Now, I'm not saying in all cases. Obviously, there's still some strong families together, but we're seeing this dynamic proliferate as time goes on, okay, where men are just weak, spineless, brainless cowards. And all you have to do is look around. All right, so let's check out some of these videos.
Sweetie, I think you need a little extra fiber in your diet.
Oh, Carol, fiber makes me sad.
Want a Dorito? Are you hungry? I want to get a Dorito.
Babe, don't hurt my dog.
But your face was like, it's classic.
It's the beard comb over, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a BlackBerry that flips closed, so no more butt dialing. Yay!
Yay!
No, you don't understand. I have an MBA.
Oh, you have an MBA. In that case, I'll have to show you how to do it.
So notice the wife here, just arms crossed, looks like she just hates her husband. And then look at the look on the husband's face. Like he's just, a brainless moron that doesn't even know how to clean an oven. Let's continue on here. So this next commercial here was aired during the Super Bowl in front of like 120 million people. And the premise of it is all they had to do was give these guys a couple bags of Doritos and they would dress up like women. Okay, so in addition to the dumbing down part of this, they also dress them up like women to emasculate and castrate them.
Bill, come on in here and meet Lauren's new friend.
She's still in the can? Because my cream's in there and I'm starting to itch.
How would you feel if you suddenly found out you were adopted and I wasn't your real dad?
Dad, don't say that. Unless you're absolutely positive it's true.
I can't reach it. Dad, you have to come up another rung. My ears are popping. All right.
He's lazy, he's immature, he's stupid, he's a marginal at best father. You know, his daughter has no respect for him.
Grandma's helping me with my homework.
Oh. Want me to help?
That's all right, dear. We're working on grammar right now.
Can I ask you something, Ray?
His wife is the one who's smart and makes all the decisions and kind of leads him around.
This is what we do. It's called being a parent.
Well, maybe I don't want to be called that.
That's the modern dad.
Hey, have you seen Dewey around? I promised him he could firebomb the Utah.
He's doing schoolwork. It was so sweet. He told me this afternoon he's writing a 300-word report about how I'm his hero.
Take a look at this Verizon commercial.
She's working on a school project.
She's 8 years old.
Tom, leave her alone.
She's already smarter than Dad, of course.
Tom!
she's just like, totally contemptuous of him. And then gives her mother this look like, get this idiot out of here.
Okay, this is a freezer, not a time capsule. Sometimes the house itself can tell you how a young homeowner is.
And then you guys have all seen these by now. This is a whole series by Progressive Insurance, where the title of the series is Don't Be Like Your Parents. Basically, don't be idiotic nerds like your parents. And this is just more conditioning, more programming, so that they don't only do it with TV shows, they do it with commercials as well.
It's turning into their parents.
Not those two.
Yep, they're gone.
Forever?
Yep.
That there is Progressive's Home Quote Explorer website, where I compared home insurance rates.
We don't need to print the internet. Some are beyond help. I will give you $100 if you can tell me what this is.
Scotch egg.
It's a meatball.
Progressive can't help you from becoming your parents, but we can help you compare rates on home insurance with Home Quote Explorer.
We've got a lot of work to do. Oh, no.
Hey, honey, how'd your test go?
Second highest in the class.
Hey.
Well, that's great.
Sanjay Patella edged me out by 12 points.
Oh, honey, who cares what she did?
It's a he. Sanjay is a very common Indian boy's name. There are like millions of them.
Sweetheart, it's still a great score. I hope you're not beating yourself up.
I'm not.
That's our girl.
Sanjay's dad's a surgeon, his mom's a professor. I can't compete with that. I'll just have to do the best I can with what I was given.
Good for you.
I'm proud of you, honey.
She's such a good kid.
Yeah, she is. Did she just say she was going to do the best with what she was given?
No, I was still thinking about all the Sanjays. I don't know any, but I know 3 Miltons.
She's saying we're stupid.
Well, she's wrong.
Is she? Honey, look at how long it just took us to figure out that she's insulting us. Are we holding our kids back?
No. We're both bright people.
Yeah.
To double source our stories, these are journalistic requirements, and they...
All right, and then again, guys, I'm just showing here how we're getting bombarded with this from all the different type of media venues. Now, this one here isn't as glaringly obvious. This is a little bit more subtle, but again, this is why they do this. So they have the man sitting in the middle, and he's surrounded by women on both sides, okay? And the name of the show is called Outnumbered. So again, this isn't quite as glaringly obvious, but this is a nonstop, subtle attack on your senses. So after a while, you begin to accept this. Now, the guy speaks up every once in a while, but for the most part, he sits in the middle looking like a dork. And they have all these good-looking women with their legs and their high heels sitting out, looking all hot and sexy. And the guy's sitting there in the middle, basically looking like a dork.
They seem to be being bypassed. We talked earlier about that 10-year-old supposedly who needed an abortion. We don't know.
To then be in a position to question the single source on it is more than awkward. It's like lay between what we see and what we know to be true and the liberal media, and they get that label because it seems to...
And then you see the guy in the middle holding up the pyramid sign. I mean, how many times do we need to see this? They're basically throwing it in your face that this is what we're doing here. This is just more mockery. We got the guy sitting in the middle. They should just put a dunce cap on the guy, okay, to make it even more obvious. But they throw that hand sign out there. Again, it's just more subtle mockery.
His conclusion or not, but he's a man. He's actually stupid. He's an idiot. He treats you like one of the guys because you just...
Okay, and then you hear all the women laugh, okay? This is just a slaughter against men, okay? This is a nationwide emasculation and castration of men. And they just bombard your senses with it around the clock, 7 days a week.
Friends, you've all heard this question. Every guy asks you that. So what you do is say stuff like, I like a guy that's on time. You're going to set your standards and your requirements, but you're going to trick him because he's stupid, and he's just going to think you're answering him.
Well, how can I make him be, more sentimental?
He throws the stuff away, and you know he throws it away?
I found it in the trash, yeah.
Guys don't usually like saving cars, but I think the bigger problem is here. Your man is stupid. Because you look, we don't like holding cards, but you can't throw it away and she see you throw it away. Is this your boyfriend?
Yes, it is.
I just called the man stupid. He right here. Y'all ain't know? Anybody? Y'all help me. Hi, sir. How are you?
I'm great, Steve. I'm just trying to keep our house clean, you know? I throw one thing away, she brings 3 more things in. So I'm just trying to keep the house tidy.
You are stupid. I was trying to save it.
Okay, so you guys saw all those commercials there. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to see what they're doing. So the next question is why would they go through all these efforts to do this? Again, the first few times it was funny, making the husband look like a fool. But now it's just old and tired. Okay, there's nothing funny about it anymore, and you can see that this is a calculated, planned agenda. All right, so the reason they're doing this, it's to make the wife hate the husband and disrespect the husband. And it's making the children disrespect the father. So think about how sick that is, what I just said. That all these media outlets and news outlets and sports outlets are doing this. They have this agenda to try to break up a wholesome family. Think about how evil that is, all right? What does that tell you? Okay, that tells you that this is a spiritual war, just like it says in the Bible. All right, why would man want to destroy somebody's family? It doesn't make any sense. Even if you're some wacky liberal, why would you want to do something that you know is going to destroy a family? And they know that. They know that by constantly pumping this stuff out into society with this nonstop conditioning and brainwashing and social engineering, they know that after a while it's going to take hold. And it is taking hold. You're seeing it. Just look around in society today. All right, this is not a fleshly war that you're seeing here. This is a spiritual war. And you're going to have these fools that are going to say, well, it's because of the liberals. All right, don't buy into that, blaming everything on the liberals. That's just another lie. I was talking to someone a few weeks ago, and I was asking them, well, why do you think the government is allowing schools to teach transgenderism and homosexuality to first graders? And they said, well, because the liberals. All right. So anybody that would go along with teaching sex to first graders is less than 1% of the population. Okay. Democrats and liberals have children and they have grandchildren and they want them to be raised properly in proper schools. Okay. The small percentage of weird people that would actually think that that's okay do not have the voting power. They don't have that kind of power where they can overturn the whole government and allow this perversion and filth to go on. So when you hear people say it's the liberals, don't buy into that, guys, okay? That's just another lie to send you on a wild goose chase, pointing fingers and blaming other people that have no say-so at all about what gets taught to children, okay? The liberals have nothing to do with what your children are taught in schools. Yes, there's a small percentage of wacky, perverted people in this country that think that that's okay, but that's probably less than 1% of the population. And the reason why none of this stuff that you're seeing makes any sense, people are trying to understand and figure it out. Like, why would they do that? All right? That's because it's a spiritual war. This comes from evil, guys. All right? And I'm not trying to sound pompous here, but the sooner you realize that and the sooner you come to that conclusion and come to that truth, you'll have a much, much better understanding of why you're seeing all this insanity. All right? I kind of got off track a little bit, but the next thing I want to show is this movie. It came out in 1973. It's called Walking Tall. And the reason I want to show a couple video clips from this is it's the exact opposite of all those TV commercials and half-hour sitcoms that I just showed you. Okay? So when this came out, this was before this planned agenda of emasculating and castrating men and making men effeminate. So let's watch this for a few minutes, and then I'll give some commentary as we go along. Okay, so this is the opposite of all those TV commercials that we just watched. Here you can see that the wife is totally into her husband, and as the video goes along here, you'll see how she kind of looks up to him with almost reverence and respect, okay? And she's happy to be with him, and she's smiling, and she's laughing, and her eyes kind of light up when she's around him. All right, so you can see how this world doesn't exist anymore. You'll never see this in TV shows today. You know, the way she's laying her head on his shoulder and, like I said, just looking up to him and honoring him in a sense. And you'll see throughout these clips here how her eyes kind of light up. If you're a guy and you're listening to this and you let your wife or your girlfriend treat you like a doormat and snuff you out like a cigarette butt, don't expect to get those kind of looks from her, okay? Where she looks up to you and her eyes are lighting up. So when a woman spiritually emasculates and castrates her husband or her boyfriend, her loving spirit gets replaced by what's called a Jezebel spirit, okay? So all that adoration and respect and reverence goes right out the door. So earlier in the video, I was talking about how it's sick, how this media is trying to destroy a family. You know, why would anyone want to destroy and break up a wholesome family that has unity together, okay? Remember I said it comes from evil? It comes from this Jezebel spirit, and I know most people have never heard of that before. When you get a chance, go into Google and type in, what is the Jezebel spirit? And there's hundreds of articles and hundreds of videos on it. Now, you're not going to hear about this in your local church because they'll lose tithe-paying members. So they just do the typical stuff. Jesus loves you. You can have whatever you want. Name it and claim it. You know, live your best life now. Every day is Friday. Okay? They don't talk about things like the Jezebel spirit. But like it just said in this little text here, it's an evil, cunning, seductive, sick, vile spirit. And it hates unity and bond and togetherness with families and just husband and wife relationships. Any kind of good relationships it tries to destroy, okay? And it also emasculates men and castrates men. So what you're seeing in society today comes from that spirit, because it wouldn't make any sense that that would be coming from man, like I talked about earlier. No one really why would anybody benefit from destroying a family? There's no benefit to it. There's no financial benefit to it. There's no financial gain. There's no political gain to something like that. So then you have to ask yourself, where does it come from? This is a spiritual war that's happening down here. I know that that's hard to comprehend if you're new to this. But the sooner that you come to grips with that, or the sooner that you come to terms with that, you'll start to understand, you'll start to make sense of why you're seeing all this. So I'll do another video on the Jezebel later. I could do a 2-hour video on that, showing examples of how that's destroying relationships and castrating men all over the world. It's happening. But let's get back to the video here.
Hey there! Mikey! Joanna, how are you?
Okay, just want to pause it here real quick for a second. But you can see how beautiful God made it. You got the grandparents, the children, and then the grandchildren. And you can see how this family unit has strength to it. Okay? In today's world, all of this is getting destroyed. And again, this is a planned, calculated agenda.
Oh, that's my boy.
How are you?
Pauline?
Grandpa.
Papa. You're looking good.
Grandpa, we're getting a house that doesn't move.
Regular house with a solid foundation.
Where?
Oh, right around here somewhere. You think you can tolerate us?
Oh, Pauline, is it true? It is, Grandma.
Are you trying to tell me that you're giving up wrestling?
Yes, Grandpa. Buford the Bull is officially retired. Oh, son, that makes me so happy.
Pauline, I bet you had something to do with this.
It was Buford's decision, as always. I just agreed immediately.
So you heard that. You heard the wife said, no, that was Buford's decision, as always. And I just agreed. Do you think you'd ever hear that today in today's shows? Okay. This is a world that doesn't exist anymore, guys. It's gone, and it's never coming back. I hate to tell you that.
Oh, don't worry, Mama. I'm not going to fight with anybody anymore. Buford's word.
By God, this calls for a drink.
With you, just about everything calls for a drink.
Well, anytime a man's son returns to his senses, it's celebrating time.
I want to go see the cows. That's for first graders. I want to see Dad solid gold football.
And just a quick note here, you see how the kid looks up to his dad? He's proud that his dad played football. All right, again, just the opposite of what's going on today, where the kids disrespect the parents. They portray the kids as being smarter, and they don't look up to the parents.
Look, I see them coming up. You?
The first thing we do is sell the trailer so we won't ever be tempted.
Yeah, you were going to say that. That's why I sold it this morning.
For me?
No, it's for us.
I might do the crying.
Okay, so this video went a lot longer than I wanted it to, but the reason I showed it was just to show the comparison of what we have today compared to what it used to be, compared to what it used to be like. All right, and it's happened so gradually over the years, people don't really take notice of it. But when you look at this show that's 50 years old, man, what a difference it was. I mean, again, you can see how beautiful God made the family unit and how much strength it has. All right. And the enemy is trying to break this up and bust this up and trying to destroy the family and destroy anything that has any kind of moral fiber to it or moral fabric to it. So I'm going to wrap this up. It went a lot longer than I wanted it to, but if anybody's looking for answers as to why all this madness is going on, look no further than the Bible, okay? If we look at 1 John 5:19, it says the whole world lies in the power of the evil one. So these just aren't empty words here, okay? This is real. If you look at all the big institutions in this world, government, politicians, bankers, the media, the medical industry, the pharmaceutical industry, Hollywood, the way all they do now is just pour filth into society. They're all under the power of the evil one. And the more you look into this, the more you're going to see that that's true. Okay? And earlier in the video, when I was showing the information about the Jezebel spirit, it was saying that it's an unseen force. Okay, that's exactly what this is. And that's why nobody knows where it's coming from. Again, why would somebody want to destroy a family? There's no political gain to it. There's no financial gain to it. Okay, it's an unseen force. And if we look at Genesis 3:1, it says, now the serpent was more cunning than any beast of the field, which the Lord God had made. Okay, the devil's not going to come in here waving a red flag telling you what he's going to do. He's very subversive and deceptive. All right, and the Bible tells you, if we look at 1 Peter, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, walks about like a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour. So again, it's not empty words, okay? Whenever you need the truth about something, guys, just look in the Bible, okay? Forget about what the naysayers say, how they say it contradicts itself and all that. Just look in the Bible and you'll find the answers, all right? And then finally, it says, put on the whole armor of God that you may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. So if we look up the definition of the word wiles, it says devious or cunning strategies employed in manipulating or persuading someone to do what one wants. So this is how this stuff always gets ushered in. It's always very devious and subversive. You're not going to see it coming. So as the Bible says, you have to be watchful and vigilant for this kind of stuff. Okay? Thanks a lot for listening.
The head of Christ is God. The head of the man is Christ. The head of the woman is the man. In that system, children are in obedience. So you read 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 3, and you find out without that divine order in place, you got total anarchy and chaos.